clear, and thank you very much for that. Jacob Rees-Mogg, look, we need to nail this Northern Ireland problem, because you want a Canada-type trade deal, and I've never heard Michel Barnier sort of accept that he can give us a Canada-type deal without sorting out a backstop on Northern Ireland.
Like Hilary Benn, I was at the meeting with Monsieur Barnier today, and he was absolutely clear that Chequers doesn't work. There are two bits of it that don't work: the facilitated customs arrangement and the common rule book. And he said those were just incompatible.
So let's put that one aside.
So, but it's really important.
But because that's gone. So
Chequers
Canada,
is not going to happen.
Canada, your preferred option.
But why does he get to Canada? Why does Monsieur Barnier get to Canada? He gets to Canada because he says, if you're outside the European Union and your red lines are that you won't have the ECJ, you won't have the single market, and you won't have the customs union, which is the government's position, and you won't have free movement of people, all you can have is a free trade agreement.
And he's been quite clear about that for 2 years, so we don't need to detain ourselves on this.
But it's really important.
Right. So the one problem, though, with Canada is Northern Ireland.
So how do you deal with Northern Ireland?
And Conor Burns today was asked about it, and he said, well, the Brexiteers will be releasing their plan in the next coming weeks. But we've had 2.5 years. We haven't got a plan yet.
The key issue here is, how do you ensure that standards of goods going into the EU are met? Because on a free trade agreement, there won't be tariffs and there won't be quotas. That's been made clear. So it's an issue relating to standards. But how do we manage standards going into the EU now? We inspect them domestically. It's built on a system of trading standards and enforcement.
But you
so
said
the question is,
you just said a week ago you talked about.
I said nothing of the kind a week ago. That was
on Northern Ireland.
No, that was a video from 2 years ago during the campaign. That is not something I said recently.
Is that video old? Okay, so it just re-emerged a week ago. I'm so sorry.
No, but it's quite...
So do you stick by what you said 2 years ago in the referendum?
Well, what I said then was the answer to a question, and the snip that went round on social media...
But you said it would be perfectly possible to continue with historic arrangements, which is when we had a border.
Hold on. What I'm saying...
in Ireland.
You've got to understand what the question was before you look at the answer. The question was, how do you ensure that illegal goods don't cross the border? But that happens now, that there are efforts to make sure that contraband doesn't cross the border. But that doesn't mean you need to have...
But it's hardly... do you think you can get away with no border at all? Because at the moment we have a common rule book and we have a single
but we have
tariff.
separate excise duties, we have a different currency, we have a different immigration regime. It's simply policed away from the border. A hard border means fences and patrol posts and all that.
You said that Michel Barnier does not believe that.
What part of it doesn't he believe?
That you don't need a border if you have different rules and you have different tariffs.
Does he say that you have to have a physical border? That's the issue.
Well,
or can
yes, I think he does.
Or can you enforce the rules away from the border?
They think you need a border. They do not think they have remotely heard anything that satisfies the Irish border problem, other than their backstop, which keeps Northern Ireland inside the customs union.
Is impossible because it divides the United Kingdom. So the issue is, for the £40 billion we're paying, is there an agreement can be done that polices the border remotely from the border?
And they don't think so. It doesn't matter what I think, or even what you think. It matters what he thinks. You're saying he's your buddy today because he agrees with you, Chequers is dead.
Well, but he has enormous charm and sophistication, as you would expect of a man in his position. But I only met him once. I wouldn't say we're great buddies at this stage. But the question is, how do you ensure that there is an overall agreement? Monsieur Barnier has said that a Canada Plus deal is on offer. We have currently been asking for something much more complicated that nobody wants. There's a poll in the Telegraph tomorrow that I think says about 20% of people like Chequers, 51% against it. Nick Bowles doesn't like it, Justine Greening is against it, almost everybody is against it. And the one thing that needs to be done is some amelioration of the Irish issue to ensure that the border can be patrolled remotely.
What do you, Jacob Rees-Mogg, think the process should be to get to that, given that there is clearly a majority in favour of a softer rather than the harder Brexit in the Commons?
Well, Parliament has voted to leave the European Union, and any deal will have to be passed through legislation. So the question is there a majority for any fresh legislation? Because with nothing else, we leave without any deal. That's already in the law.
Right, we're in no deal.
So we're in no deal unless some sensible solution on Ireland can be met, which is ensuring that the border is enforced away from the border, as already happens, and that's the key point for excise, for VAT, and for immigration. It's policed remotely from the border.
Thank you both,
Thank you.
Heidi Allen, Jacob Rees-Mogg. Thank you very much indeed. Well, does the nation know what is